Good morning, children. Hope you all are fine. We have completed all the chapters. I hope you have written all the notes into your biology notebook. I have given you only the text exercises, the question and answers in your textbook. And from last class, we are doing the revision. That is, I am giving you all some extra question and answers which you will, it is important for you all. That too mainly from the lesson natural resources. So I thought of giving you the extra questions from that lesson, because I told you I am repeating it once again. That is very important for you for the next year also. Okay, so we will move into that. Last class I think we have done about some 12 question and answers. Today we will do the rest. Now, how does ozone layer protect us from the harmful effects in the environment? So that is next question. So we know that the ozone layer protects us from the harmful ultraviolet radiations from the sun. So that is the answer. Ozone layer protects us from the harmful UV rays. Now next is list 2 biotic factors of the biosphere. So we have studied what is biosphere. It is nothing but the it has got the outer layer of the earth, then the atmosphere, and the living and non-living things. All to these constitute the biosphere. Now what is the biotic component in that? Biotic means it is nothing but the living things. So what is naturally living thing in the biosphere? It is nothing but the plants and animals. So the biotic factors are nothing but plants and animals. And also decomposers. Decomposers play a very important role in the atmosphere. Decomposers are nothing but the fungi and bacteria which are growing on the dead and decaying matter. Because when you put a vegetable peel or a banana peel into the soil, you need decomposers there to convert it or to completely decay them and mix them into the soil. Okay, that is the decomposers, work of the decomposers. So the biotic components of the atmosphere means it is plants, animals and decomposers. Now next one, mention 2 factors that influence the pattern of winds. That is the question. Wind, W-I-N-D-S. The factors that influence the pattern of winds are, we know that how winds are formed. That is the uneven heating of the atmosphere, rotation of the earth and presence of mountain ranges. So those are the factors which influence the wind pattern. Uneven heating of the atmosphere, then rotation of the earth and also the presence of mountain ranges. Okay, what is conversion of ammonia into nitrates called? What is conversion of ammonia into nitrates called? It is nitrification. So the ammonia is converted into nitrates. That process is called nitrification. Now list any 2 human activities that you think will lead to air pollution. So what is 2 activities which can lead to the air pollution? Burning of wood. Next one, combustion of coal and petroleum fuels. So these 2 together are the human activities which lead to the air pollution. Now The next question is, what is biosphere? So the answer is Earth, where the atmosphere, that is the blanket of air, the hydrosphere, that is the blanket of water, and lithosphere, that is the Earth's crust or the soil, interact and make life possible on the Earth is known as biosphere. So I will read out the answer once again. Earth, where the atmosphere, hydrosphere and lithosphere interact and make life possible is known as the biosphere. The next one, which gas is the major component of the Venus and Mars? So which is the major component of the gas present in Venus and Mars? It is carbon dioxide. It is up to 95% to 97% of the atmosphere. So these two are the maximum in the Venus and Mars. So that is why life is not possible over there. Next one is, name the carbon compounds responsible for the causing ozone hole in the atmosphere. It is nothing but the chlorofluorocarbons. So the short form is CFC. CFC is chlorofluorocarbon, and these are the carbon compounds responsible for causing the hole in the ozone layer. The next question is, name the bacteria responsible for nitrification in nature. It is Rhizobium. So Rhizobium is the name of the bacterium. This bacterium, I told you, this lives in the root nodules of leguminous plants. Leguminous plants means nothing but the plants belonging to the Leguminaceae family. That is the in Malayalam Parippu Payaru Vargangal, all the pulses. So these are called the leguminous family actually. So the plants of this, the roots of this plants will have notches in their roots. That means they will have some small bulges in their roots. So these bulges are nothing but where this bacterium Rhizobium is growing. So this is another example of symbiotic relation also. So when you say an example for symbiotic relation also, you can say this, the interaction between the Rhizobium the Rhizobium bacterium is staying in the roots of the leguminous plants. So this leguminous plants are giving shelter to the bacterium. So this bacterium in turn, how it is helping the plant? They will make the atmospheric nitrogen available to the plants. We know that as such the nitrogen present in the atmosphere cannot be taken by the plants. So this bacteria will fix the nitrogen from the atmosphere and make it into a usable form, and the plants are easily taking along with the water from the roots. So it is the bacterium, name of the bacterium is Rhizobium, which is responsible for nitrification in nature, that is fixing of nitrogen. What are biodegradable pollutants? That is the pollutants which can be decomposed by microorganisms are called biodegradable pollutants. So I told you the microorganisms are present in the soil which they can decompose. So for example, plastic that cannot be decomposed by the microorganisms, the fungi and bacteria will not act on them. So only the pollutants where these microorganisms can act and decompose, that is called the biodegradable pollutants. Now give the major source of minerals in soil. So from where you get minerals in the soil? It is from the rocks. So we know that soil is formed from the rocks. The rocks, when they are continuously heated by the sun, it expands, and during the night time, when there is no heat, it cools, that contracts. So this alternate expansion and the contraction, the rocks will start getting cracks on them. So this cracks will widen, and the big rocks will be broken down into small pieces. So this will finally form the soil. All this takes millions of years. That's what we studied in the lesson when we went through. So this minerals. So the minerals are present in the rocks. So from there only the soil is getting the minerals. So it is from the rocks. So give the major source of minerals in soil. It is the rocks. So the type of mineral in the soil will depend on the type of rocks from which the soil has formed. Okay. The next one, how is carbon dioxide fixed in the atmosphere? So we know that Earth is a only suitable place for the life. So we know that when there is too much of carbon dioxide, we are not able to live. So all the animals we are giving out, all the human beings, animals, we are giving out carbon dioxide. So how this carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is getting fixed? That is, it is the plants through photosynthesis. We know that the plants are autotrophs, that is, they prepare their own food. So with the help of water from the soil, sunlight, chlorophyll present in the leaves, and the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, all this taken up from the plant, taken up by the plants, and the food is prepared through photosynthesis. So through the photosynthesis by the plants, the carbon dioxide is fixed in nature. So how you can write the answer? By the plants, through the process of photosynthesis, the carbon dioxide is fixed. That is the answer to that question. Now next, pesticides reduce soil fertility. Give 2 reasons for your answer. So pesticides, we know that it will reduce the soil fertility. When we are adding pesticides to kill the insects and pests attacking the plants, what happens? The microorganisms and the earthworms present in the soil will die. So only when earthworms and microorganisms are present in the soil is fertile. When this is not there, the soil becomes infertile and unfit for the plants to grow. Now next one is, why is air called breath of life? So why is air called the breath of life? We know that the air contains oxygen, which is needed by the organisms for respiration. So the air is having oxygen for us. So that is why we call the air the breath of life. Okay children, go through the video, listen to this, and you can take down the notes from this. If I send you the notes, you will only copy it, you will not listen to this. So you have to listen to this, and you think that as I am dictating it, so you can take down these extra questions. Hope you will do so. Have a nice day. Thank you.